Hello, my name is Teresita Reyes, and this is a flyer that I use for my in-service that I gave to teachers in my building who take the newcomers after they are exited from the newcomer program. As you can see, I introduce a can-do approach as a differentiated instruction to support English learners. I started the in-service by introducing the can-do approach, which builds upon students' strengths and abilities rather than focusing on weaknesses. As teachers, we tend to pay more attention to what the students are missing and try to fill those needs without paying attention to what they have and build on that. So one of my objectives was to help teachers see the student as a whole and the strengths they have and how we can work with them. After introducing the can-do approach, I gave the teachers a copy of the article from Colorín Colorado, and I gave them time to skim through the article, and then we discuss it in small groups. After the discussion in small groups, we came together and we shared our aha moments and what they found was interesting in this approach. Then I gave some more information about the 3 steps that this approach has. So the step number 1 is to build a portrait of the students, of the whole student, not just what they are missing, but what strengths they have, what interests they have, their cultural and linguistic backgrounds. So get a better feeling of the whole student. What has he been through? What things he knows? What schooling did he had? Get to know a little bit more about the student. Then the step 2 is think about differentiation for language learners. So to keep in mind that what support you can give to the student when you're planning. So start with when you're planning, think of what support they will need and have that in place before you start teaching. So that way it's easier for you and for them. And the step number 3 is to provide feedback that builds on what language learners can do and that scaffolds rather than rescues the learner. So at the end of each step, the article that has some questions to discuss and to keep in mind when you're planning. So we discuss a little bit more about this with the teachers. And one of the things that says that when you're answering the questions, keep an open mind and think about the assets of the student. And when you're answering, use it with that point of view. Like she is able to, he's enthusiastic about, she strives to. So use very positive answers. And when you are planning, you need to decide what are the things that the student will need. For example, if they're going to need certain questions, if they're going to be asking questions, what words they need to be able to ask those questions. If you can help them with resources or what things are of their interest so they can get hooked and pay more attention to the lesson and the activities. So just keep always the student in mind when you're planning. And one of the last things is to break the steps or the components of the activity as much as possible, as much as the student needs, so you can go step by step and it makes it easier for them. Other thing that it's good to do ahead of time is find resources that the student can use independently. And the last thing is to give positive feedback. So always reinforce that they are doing good and how they are advancing, even if it's the little things. So this is what I did with for my in-service. I hope you liked it, and thank you.